Good evening, and welcome back after 3 weeks, 2 weeks absence, so the third week. So I'm not surprised there's only a few of you here at the moment. Ingo, hello. Very nice to see you, and thank you for purchasing Kool Hits. So just in case the other person that is viewing, or the other few people that are viewing, don't know that Kool Hits is on pre-release today. And there's already quite a few people who bought it, so that's really nice and really encouraging, and that really helps with the expenses, because that whole period of when you're releasing a new CD and you're doing T-shirts and posters and all of that sort of stuff is all a little expensive, let's say. But so thank you for everyone who's purchased. So that is the big news. We are doing the very last track of Kool Hits today, and that is, of course, bringing back the spirit of love. So without any further ado, I think I am gonna spin the record.
Bringing back the spirit of love. Bringing back the spirit of love. Bring it back, bring it on back. Bring it on back to you. Bringing back the spirit of love. Bringing back the spirit of love. Bring it back, bring it on back. Bring it on back.
We're gonna start a revolution, one that grows inside our hearts. Let's work for a new solution, 'cause something's about to change. I sense a mighty wave. We don't wanna fight for lower tax. We just wanna win the good stuff back. And we are bringing back the spirit of love to the world. All over the world, people are bringing back the spirit of love to the world. And we're giving it back to you. You're gonna join the party, but you gotta lay down your hate. I figure by now we started. You'll never ever get enough when you build your house on love. We don't need to see what's wrong. We just need a revolution song. One song that's bringing back the spirit of love to the world. All over the world, people are bringing back the spirit of love to the world. And we're giving it back to you. Are you in? Are you out? Time to stand up, wake up the world and shout. Are you free? Are you a slave? A slave to that big money machine we made. Are you in? Are you in? Are you out? Are you out? It's time to stand up, wake up the world and shout. Are you free? Are you free? Are you a slave? A slave to that big money machine we made.
The spirit of love. And we are bringing
up the world and shout. Are you free? Are you a slave? A slave to that big money machine we made. We stand on the edge of a disaster. I'm going with a red started caster. One love, one voice is our weapon. We're wrapping up, we're standing up. For the people been forgotten for so long now. Wake it up, shake it up, we're getting strong now. We're tired of the lies and spin. Let's talk about love. Are you out? Let's talk about love. Let's talk about love. Are you free? Are you a slave? Let's talk about love. Let's talk about bring back the spirit of love. Are you out?
Bring it back, the spirit of love. Bring it back, the spirit of love. Bring it back, bring it on back. Bring it on back to you.
And there we are. Bringing Back the Spirit of Love, which of course was the opening track on Cartoon World and the closing track on Cool Hits, which seemed kind of fitting as we kind of figured that Cool Hits was like all the leftover bits that we had, things before we started Cartoon World, a lot of loose ends, and then some different versions of some of the things on Cartoon World. So it was quite fitting to open and close with that song. We always kind of thought it was an important song, let's say. Yeah, so we are, of course, there was a lot of things, kind of little different bits on that than there was on the Cartoon World bit, and some of them were things that we edited out of the Cartoon World bit, and then some things were things that we put in extra after the event. So it's all very interesting. What was I going to say? Of course, we have a competition, and the competition question is quite an interesting one. Elaine thinks she knows the answer, but I'm not sure. She may know the answer. She may not know the answer to this. It's a little bit obscure, and if we don't get any, takers for it, then I might give you a little clue halfway through. Okay, we'll see how that goes. And the prize, because I'm not sure whether we'll continue this live stream or whether we might do another one. We do all the videos from this album back to back. It might be next week. It might be the week after. But we come to the end of songs to talk about. And so we've got a really busy schedule coming up with gigs, and I've got an awful lot of writing of notes to do and all that sort of stuff. So we might take a few weeks off and then figure out where we go from there. The prize this week is actually one of our few remaining Japanese copies of Cool Hits. It's very slightly different in terms of the mixes are very slightly different because we've been tweaking the mixes ever since this got released. We carried on. So the British version will sound slightly different. So that's the prize. It's a good prize this week. So worth racking your brains for what it is, what the answer is to this question, what I'm going to put up on screen now. 2 seconds. And also, of course, just before we even talk about the question, really, here we go, up on screen. That, of course, is Leah's first cartoon that she did for the whole series of Cartoon World. And it was just that off-the-wall idea of we can't do any gigs at the moment, so why don't we do some cartoons, just some really off-the-wall things. And that was the very first one that she did. So that's really good. Also very fitting to kind of tie it all up. So the question is, the original lyric for Spirit of Love was, we can't govern the world. So it was like, bringing back the spirit of all over the world. We are bringing back the spirit of love. We can't govern the world, but we can bring back the spirit of love, or something like that. Anyway, so the original lyrics, we can't govern the world. Who or what was the inspiration for that line? The original lyric for Spirit of Love was, we can't govern the world. Who or what was the inspiration for that line? There we are. I'm going to take it back off screen. I'm going to try not to do the cock up that I normally do, which is leave leave the screen on and me yattering away in the background. There we are. So let's think about just the history of the song. This was like written very early on in the cartoon world. I think it was maybe the third song, fourth song, something like that, or at least the chorus was. We had a good few ideas floating around. I was working on 3 or 4 of James's ideas, of which space became one, time became another, and we were working on this, so that became another. So what I'm going to do is I am going to play you the original demo that I did just of the chorus, and this is me thrashing away, and it looks like I'm in Studio 2 upstairs, but I'm not actually, because it's a Zoom filter which puts a different background on it. So there we are. So here we go. This is the original demo.
So guys, this is the idea for a kind of Tears for Fears song extolling the virtues of love, and thinking a chorus something like this. So we are bringing back the spirit of love to the world. We're bringing it back to you. And then maybe a whole end section of the song that does. Not with those lyrics, but something to that rhythm. That's all I got.
So there we are. That was it. You notice that that end sequence, the rhythm stayed, although that blump, which ended up with James doing the rap over the end of that kind of rhythm. But the chord sequence was very slightly different. I was messing about. I was just thinking of, I could go this way, I could go that way, and we ended up just having a slightly different chord sequence at the end that went round. So yeah, that was the original idea, and then James and I worked on the verse. I think James did the tune. Sorry, I'm just tidying up my screen there a little bit. James did the tune for the verse more or less in 5 minutes flat. It was just before he left one time. We played the end of the chorus, and he just picked up a guitar and sort of went through the verse. I had the first line, "We're going to start a revolution." And he sung that, and he sung it in a completely different place than I would have sung it, and he did a completely different tune that I would have done. And I particularly like those, "Gonna start a revolution, It's just like one of the catchiest things, which is of course what he's so great at. So we did that. A bridge as well, he wrote the bridge straight away, pretty much there. And then I went off and kind of just worked on lyrics for verse 1 and verse 2. There probably is floating around somewhere a version where it's me. In fact, it was probably on the demo album that I gave to, I think it was Ingo. Ingo, I think you had the demo album, didn't you? Which I called Sketchy Songs. Oh, no, it wasn't. That was something. Oh, yeah, it was. It wasn't that. I did give you that. But it was someone had the demo album for Cartoon World. And as I'm singing a lot of that because it was me that initially put all of the different ideas together. So always with the intention of James doing it at the end. So that was kind of how that developed. I think I'd already written the middle eight. I had that idea for Are You In, Are You Out? We'd just gone through the whole Brexit thing and everything. So it was all like divisiveness everywhere. So, you know, which side of the line are you? There's another Korgis song. In fact, that Korgis song, Lines, was released today. It's just a digital release. I haven't bothered putting it up on the website. But if you ask me nicely, I'll send you an MP3 of it if you wish. But it's up on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube, no doubt, and it'll be probably everywhere, I'd imagine. Anyway, that's out today. So anyway, back to Spirit of Love. So that was the basis of the whole song. And then, as you will hear, because I'm gonna grab up Sonar and just actually show you what is different and why it's different and when that happens. So I'm going to stick that up on screen now. And I will have a look to the answers for your questions. Oh, Leah. Hello, Leah. How are you? And Collie D. Very nice to see you both. Where are we? Sona here. There we go. So, as you know, as you heard, this starts with this idea. And right up the top here, you'll see there is a whole million vocals.
We're gonna start a rip.
So yeah, the idea of not starting with the Kennedy speech, of just actually slamming straight into the song. The Kennedy speech was kind of an afterthought, if anything, but it seemed to fit quite nicely. But yeah, all of these backing vocals, I think there is at the top, there's a block for Born to Win, Girls doing the high ones, Jay doing the bottom one. There's a block of James doing all of them. In fact, James has, how many has he got there? 6 of that low vocal there. And then I think maybe that's John underneath that doing a low vocal. Yeah, there's a whole block of me doing them. Another block of James. Geez, there's thousands of them in there. But there we are. There we are. Millions of those backing vocals. And the idea that came around at the end as well. It's quite interesting because you'd think, how many vocals can you have going at the one time and still make sense of it? And the answer is quite a lot. As long as they're doing different things, as long as they're not really conflicting with each other, you can have quite a lot of them going. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to turn off. Yeah, will I? I'm going to turn it. No, I'm not going to turn off the fade. That could do all sorts of things. I'm just gonna solo all the voices, and you'll just hear how many of them are doing different things at different times. So it'll take me a second to get to this because there are so many of them. Low end, end block. What else we got here? Oh yeah, Are You Ins, and then regular backing vocals. Sorry, I haven't got to the end of the vocals yet. Let's find out. Outside stuff, don't think we need that. Okay, so you should hear this now.
We stand on the edge of a disaster. I'm going with a red Stratocaster. One love, one voice is our weapon. We're ramping up. We're standing up. For the people who've been forgotten for so long now. Wake it up, shake it up, we're getting strong now. We're tired of the lies and the spin. Let's talk about love. Are you out? Let's talk about love. Let's talk about love.
Bring back the spirit.
Are you a slave? Let's talk about love. Let's talk about
Bring back the spirit.
Are you out?
Bring back the spirit.
Just
Bring it on back.
Bring it on back to you.
let's talk about
Bringing back the spirit of love. Bringing back the spirit of love. Bring it back. Bring it on back.
Bring it on back to you.
Yeah, there we are. That's how it ends. So yeah, all of those blocks working at the one time. John over the top doing, are you in? Are you out? So yeah, all of those blocks do work together, and you notice that we faded out some of the stuff and just left that. In fact, we faded out the whole damn band right at the end there. It's quite a complicated thing to do. You have to put them all on different subgroups, and they all want to fade at different rates in order to get them to work. But it sounds something like this.
Are you out? Let's talk about love. Let's talk about love. Are you a slave? Let's talk about love. Let's talk about bring back the spirit. Are you out?
Bring it on back.
Bring it on back to you.
Let's talk about
Bringing back the spirit of love. Bringing back the spirit of love. Bringing back.
Etc. So you hear those umpa sticking up the jumper drums at the end doing bloom da bloom da bloom da bloom ba. That was an extra drum kit that was there. He put extra toms over the end, and again we crossfaded them between the original drums and the other stuff. The only other major difference here is that this is actually the original end, which was longer because it went back into the Are You In, Are You Out? Normally what we did on the album version, I'll see if I can get this together. Yeah. So after the last chorus proper, which proper outro. And on the album it goes, here we are, the rap. But here, of course, we go down into a breakdown section again, which this was the original idea.
Are you in? Like the spirit. Are you out? Time to stand up, wake up the world and shout. Are you free? Like the spirit. Are you a slave? Asleep to that big machine.
Into the rap.
We stand on the edge of a disaster. I'm going with the rip.
Yeah, so that's about the size of it. So we felt that doing that breakdown section again, we felt there was just like too many sections in a row, because we'd had the Kennedy speech as the opening, and in fact it even comes out the Cartoon World Overture. We just felt it was like by the time we got there, we wanted to propel towards the end. And of course on Cartoon World we have that dead stop where it goes, let's talk about, and we go back into the 80s. So we didn't have as much time, and it was also because of vinyl, we were thinking we don't want the CD version to be so much different to the vinyl. So it was a little bit of a move to just cut it down, and we always knew that was going to be a single as well. So, you know, airtime, radio play, all factors into it. But there we are. That's about the story of the new version of Bringing Back the Spirit of Love. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have a little look and see if anyone's got close to the questions. Where do we go? Donald Trump. Well, that's an interesting one. Oh, yeah, Tim, it was you that had the demo album. Of course it was, yes. Oh, there we go. Very nice. Okay, so I don't know, Elaine, I don't know the question. I thought you might not. But I will give you a clue. I'm just going to pop it back up on screen here just for another little second, just to give you another little think about it. The original lyric for Spirit of Love was, we can't govern the world. Who or what was the inspiration for that line? And I have told this story before. That's all I'll say. I've told that story before. But it is a bit obtuse, it must be said. It is a little bit obtuse. Okay, so I think we are going to go. We're going to go to some news. I'm going to shut down that because otherwise we'll start to run out of memory. Lots of news, of course, today, and maybe this is a case where I actually need to get the website up. Sorry, so I'm just gonna grab that. That should work okay. Oh, maybe not. Oh, yeah, the Korgis.com. That's what it is, isn't it? Because it is the pre-release of Kool Hits today, of course, and we have lots of different packages here. So just before we go to the screen stuff, of course, this album was done originally on the instigation of some Japanese friends who said we would love to release an album over here, and as part of this thing is we want to go to Japan, we want to tour there. That we said, yeah, that's a good idea. We'd love to have something new released in Japan. I mean, Cartoon World had been out. We've sold quite a lot in Japan of Cartoon World, box sets and everything. So there was a little bit of interest, we knew, at least there. So we're hoping that this album would at least, solidify that a little bit. And it seems to have done very well. At the same time, we also did a single with Moe Hero, who was part of a girl group called XOXO or something, I think they were called. And we'd done a single with those. I don't think the single's actually been released, but they decided that they would put it as a bonus track on the album. And it's a brand new version of of Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime that James and I worked at, which is really, really different. Really different. And so that ended up on that album. It won't be on the UK album because we feel that partly in Japanese it's very minority, and we wanted the album to stand as a whole and you to be able to get to the end and go, yeah, okay, that felt pretty good, rather than this kind of more odd little curiosity thing coming in at the end. Even though it is a curiosity, it would have fitted as a curiosity. But there we are. However, after it's been released in Japan, if you want to hear it, we will put it up. We'll make it available everywhere, so everyone can hear it. I don't want you to have to go and buy the Japanese album because of that. But don't let me stop you if you want the Japanese copy as well. We found a company in Japan, I think we announced it a couple of weeks ago, that is doing it quite cheap. It was something like £5 or £6 postage from Japan. Wasn't particularly expensive, so it's definitely, doable. It's not going to break the bank, as opposed to some of our Kool hits, some of our pre-orders, which probably will break the bank. But the idea was that we wanted to do kind of a fundraiser as well as a pre-release. So if anyone wanted to donate to the great glorious Korgis cause, then there would be an opportunity to do it. But if you really just wanted to buy the CD, that's cool as well, or the T-shirt, etc. So we put together all of these different packages, and I'm going to take you through them. I think we're going to stick it up on screen. Here we go. So this is where you get to it. This is our homepage here. You would go to store, and you'll now see that there is Kool Hits, Curiosities, and Collaborations, as well as Cartoon World. So we're going to go on that one. And here we go. We've got a big greenish kind of screen here. Help the Korgis get to the land of the rising sun and the land down under. So the idea was that we are doing some dates in Australia. We've got a couple of dates booked, and we're trying to book others in around, and we're also trying to book Japan on the way to Australia. So we're going to see how that kind of all goes. Whoops, my screen's gone a bit skew-iff there, but there we are. And so we hit upon this idea of, well, let's put some different sponsorship things together, and maybe some things that people might find desirable. Here's the regular CD. So you pre-order, download your price. I think there's a minimum price of £10. If you want to donate more, we're not going to stop you. But the download price is £10. The CD price is a regular price of £13, which is what all of our albums are currently going for. And you can hear snippets of all of these songs there. So I think if you click on them, you'll get 30 seconds or a minute or something like that. So things that you're not so sure about, you can maybe check out and weigh up what you want. The next one, of course, is the T-shirt. So that's going to be our Kool Hits T-shirt there with the front cover on there. It'll look something like that anyway. And I'll get to the back of that in a second. So this is the box set. And the most basic version of the box set, I've just said this is the box. That's what it is. It contains a CD, at least one A2 poster, but it may actually be two A2 posters. We're going to see how they look. But it's at least one, and a T-shirt. And if you're ordering these, don't forget to tell us which size of T-shirt. I think I've written it on all of them now. Please tell us your T-shirt. There's a little tab at the bottom where it says comments or something like that. And just, if not, I'll chase you up. I'll chase you up and find you. I will. So that's a box set. That's the regular thing. And then the next one is bronze sponsor box set with your name in sleeve notes. Now, it's quite interesting because we go to bronze and copper. I actually had to Google which was the most precious metal. And it turns out that copper is a more expensive metal than bronze is. Okay, so we started with the bronze set. And that basically, we are going to give you a thank you. It's going to cost you an extra £20 for this, but we're going to give you a thank you personally in the liner notes, which will be the fold-up poster that goes inside the CD itself. So that will be there. So whenever you open up that thing, you'll be able to see your own name there. There we are. So the copper sponsor, which is the next one up, which is another £20 extra if you're kind of made of money. It gets your name on the sleeve notes and also on the back of the T-shirt. So you can kind of see, yeah, you can see that T-shirt there. It's probably easier to see the other one under here. as that comes round, that you'll see a bit more. That we've got basically a collection of names on the back of the T-shirt. Hopefully I'm not stopping that changing. There it is. There it is. So regular names there for however many people sponsor it there. And you also, once you get the silver sponsor here, it says box set with your name in credits and in bold on the T-shirt. So it's not the big names at the top, they're more expensive again, but your name would be in bold. So in these little group here, yours would stand out more than the others. If you want to stand out from the crowd, the silver sponsor is the one for you. And then we go down to the gold sponsor. So you've got two big gold records there, and anyone looking carefully at that will realize that it is, I think, the Beatles for Sale. That's the original gold records of that. So this gets your name in credits and large print on the T-shirt. Oh, and I actually haven't written this very well. Sorry. Your name in credits and large print on the T-shirt. Now this is expensive. This is 130 quid, and the reason for that is there's only ever going to be 5 names on any pressings of this T-shirt. So we may, like in the future, we'll do another run where there'll be another 5 names on it, so we can keep this going for as long as you want. But the initial run of these T-shirts will be whoever goes for that gold package is going to get their name big on the T-shirt. There, you get my mouse, you can just see it there. So you get your name in large print on the back. After this, we get into just people who have more money than sense. Okay, the platinum package. The Korgis will play for you. The Korgis will come to your house and play to you. And it's going to be the whole damn band as well. We're not going to do a cut down thing. We're not going to do an acoustic thing. We're going to bring everything. And if we can cram into your front room, we probably won't set the whole PA up, or it would take your roof off, but we'd bring in a limited PA, and we would do a gig for you in your house or in a barn, or even if you want to become an entrepreneur, hire your local hall and we'll come and play there. So that is the platinum package. That's their. Email us if you're going to do that, and we'll just talk through it. Because if you are in the Orkney Islands or the Shetland Islands, there might be an extra charge because it might take us a little while to get there. And then, a little interesting fact, the platinum package there, Tapestry, Carole King. We thought that's a nice one. Very great songs on that album, so we thought we'd feature her on her platinum album of that. The last one is the Kryptonite package. You'll just see Superman here gasping his last breaths. That's because he spent all his money on the Kryptonite package. The Korgis will play for you, plus the gold sponsor status. So you get your name big on the back of the T-shirt, etc. If you were to buy both of those at the one time, it will cost you slightly more than that. So there's a tiny little reduction. So there we are. That's the essence of the packages. I'm going to come back down to me now. So all the different ones. We're not encouraging anyone to spend money that they haven't got. If you can only afford the T-shirt or you only want the download, that's perfectly fine as well. But we thought it's a way. There's some people who've been going, how can we help? We want to get involved. We want to help. This is one way that you could help. Yeah. There we are. So that is the big news for today. And as you can imagine, with the personalization of these products, there's a time problem in a way, because it takes approximately 10 days for the T-shirts to arrive. So that's after we collect the names to put on the T-shirts. And likewise with the posters to go in. Now, I think the turnaround for the posters is a little shorter. I think we could do 4 or 5 days or something like that on the posters that go, or the poster that goes inside the CD. There's a little time thing there, so hopefully that won't hold it up so much. But anyone grabbing the box sets or any of those packages with box sets in it that require the T-shirt might be like an extra week or something like that. It's just we need to amass enough names to make it worthwhile. So there we are. That's all the sponsor things, and exciting because quite a lot of people have bought it already. So it's really really great, and thank you to all who have. So other news today, I touched on the fact that Lines, the first single, is released. Of course, it was the first ever Korgis demo. if you missed the live stream about that, it is back about sort of maybe 8-9 weeks ago. It might even be more than that, where I was chatting to Steve Lindsay about the first demo that he did with James and Andy, and that was the very first thing that was recorded. Was lines written by Steve Lindsay, and he then went and had, of course, his own hit in the planets. The Korgis have only ever done it as an unplugged, and it was like with piano accordion and stuff. It didn't sound anything near what we play it live. So for the Cool Hits thing, we took the live version as our starting point, and then went some on it and went to town. Anyone who's seen us live will know that Jay on that comes out with a megaphone and starts talking about loads of stuff. We featured him quite a lot. We turned him up quite loud because we just thought it was like gave it a little otherworldly character to it. So that single released today, hopefully on Spotify, etc. When I checked late last night, it hadn't arrived, but then maybe Spotify is American, so it probably was going to Standard Eastern Time or something like that. So what else have we got? Oh yeah, new gig announced. Was it about a week ago? I can't remember whether I announced this before I went away, or since I came back. Chapel Arts, February the 18th. Now the gig at Chapel Arts has been in for quite a long time. It's just that we hadn't done anything about promoting it or giving them the material to promote it. And like anything, we want to make each gig special in its own right. And I think it was when I was talking to Alan Draper, Alan Draper who wrote the Stackridge book, more on him in a second. I was talking to Alan Draper, and he said, well, I hope you're going to play a lot of stuff from Cartoon World. He said, quite honestly, I'd be happy for you to play it all the way through. And I kind of went, well, you missed the boat, because we did that back last late November and early December. We did Abbott's Cursewell and the Rondo Theatre in Bath. Where we did 2 performances of that. But then I thought, do you know what? That album has been so well received, and we actually love playing all the songs from that. So we're going to make Chapel Arts a special extended gig, and the first set we do will be big. It'll be a big set because it is Cartoon World in its entirety, which runs for over an hour. And then, of course, we'll do a second set. We do loads of old favourites and all that. Party tunes. Yeah, Black Lace songs, stuff like that. So that'll be one to come, and it's kind of signing off on the whole Cartoon World era. It's not, of course, not that we will stop playing those songs, but we probably won't, unless we're talking about a 30th anniversary or something like that. We probably won't play the whole album in its entirety again, unless you beg us. Then we might. There's no promise that we won't break, all right? Simple as that. Any competition questions? Oh, Daryl Hill, nice to see you. Japanese friend, Yoshihiro. Sorry, very hard to read what I've got down here. It's the answer to the Dalai Lama. Okay, well, there's some good guesses coming on here. Good guesses. Okay, so that was Chapel Arts. So that one is going to be a great one. Looking forward to that. What else we got here? Line single release. As you know, Alan Draper is coming to our book signing in Southampton. We're just about to order some books. So if you haven't got that Stackridge book, which covers all of the Korgis and all of Andy Davis stuff, as well as Mutter's solo releases and stuff, it covers all of those. So if you haven't got the book and you fancy having the book and you are coming to Southampton, Alan Draper will be there and he will sign it. But we'll have some on the merch stand to sell. Yeah. So that'll be good. And it is a great book. It's a great book. So that is Southampton. Come along if you can. October the 28th. October the 28th, that is. And of course, our gig in Frome, November the 5th, supporting Martin Kemp from Spandau Ballet. I believe they're in the last, just over 100 tickets left for that. So if you fancy seeing it, that'll be a mad 80s whole day and evening, that is, with Martin Kemp finishing off. So that'll be marvelous. And then, of course, the Korgis with orchestra, of which I have been writing and writing and writing and writing lots and lots of notes and sending them through to violin players and stuff like that who've gone, what? Ledger lines and flats? I don't believe it. Little heads up there. Quite funny. This is completely by accident. Actually, I must send Andy a little text sort of apologizing because I poached both Claire and Brian from DLM. I just approached Brian because I was short of a cello player and I knew he's a good reader and he does lots of different sorts of gigs. I could only get to him through Claire, and Claire said, well, I'd quite fancy doing a gig as well. So, unfortunately, I poached L and M from DLM. So that should be a hoot as well. It'd be a bit of a reunion for James from the Stack Ridge days. There we are, yeah. So that's good. The orchestra stuff is all going very well. Tickets are selling pretty well. I have a few good tickets left near the front, but we're talking about 4 or 5, something like that. Other than that, we start getting to the wings, which are still good tickets, or we start getting a little bit further back. So if you are going to come to that and haven't got your ticket yet, get in touch, thekorgis.com. If you get a ticket on there, then I will find you the best one that I can. Okay? That's all good. So I think which brings us rather neatly to a song that we're going to play, and we haven't played it for a little while. I stuck it up on Facebook the other day, and this is from James Warren's Innocent Bystander album, and this is Set Me Free. And this is from the very first gig that we ever did. This is from the Rondo on the first gig we ever did. And I've got to say, for a first gig, this sounds amazing. Have a listen.
Late at night, when all the stars are bright, do you see the one that you love? Here I am, I hope you'll understand. To be a friend is just not enough. So it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get steady and go, go, go. I just can't take it, waiting in line. I wanna be the one and I'm gonna change your mind. Set me free, set me free. Come on baby, let me be, let me be. I've been here every day till the dead of night. Could it be this is love? Am I wrong or right now? Set me free, set me free. Come on baby, can't you see? Can't you see? You're the one that I need, I've been looking for. Only you have the key, open up the door and set
Oh, I thought I was going to get away without doing any serious cock-ups here. Anyway, I was waffling on there. I was just going to say that song, brilliant, very ELO-like, which was James's intention at the time. I know I was working with him on Innocent Bystander. I didn't work on all of it. I just contributed a few guitars here and there. I wrote the strings for that. We did the brass for Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, and a few guitar solos on, a few guitars on other things, etc., etc. Yeah, that song we will be playing. That'd be good. Yeah, we'll be doing that one. Some interesting things about that video that you wouldn't know. On the Rondo gig, unless you were there, on the Rondo gig, I actually told the audience that we were trying to do a live link-up with the studio and that we had the string players in the studio. And everyone fell for it. They thought it was that I'd actually done it. I mean, we had set it up so that the mic clicked in, and I'm kind of not sure if it's going to work, etc. But it was, of course, a complete fake. We had a film synced up to the band. And in fact, the string players that you see there are only 4 players there, whereas actually on the original there are like 10 first violins, 8 second violins, 4 violas, 3 cellos, so about 25 of them or something like that, which is why they sound so good. But of course there was only 4 there, and that's because I filmed them upstairs at Shabbey Road and they were miming to it. And if you see, if you look back at that video again, which is worth doing, you can see every now and then the string players are all looking at Richard like they want to murder him. And that's because half of the time Richard decided to play at a semitone out of tune. So it was sounding horrendous in there, but everyone was smirking and smiling, which was probably his intention to kind of give everyone a little bit of impetus rather than, we're going to be dry, boring session musicians. So that was quite a funny thing. If you look at the string players' faces, you'll see them doing real sideways looks at him. So there we are. Of course, Richard will be at the Korgis gig. Corrine will be at the Korgis gig. Claudine, our normal cello player, can't make this one, but she will. I'm sure she'll be on another one somewhere. And with, of course, Claire and Brian and hopefully another friend of mine as well. We'll see. Let's see how that goes. Anyway, so there we are. Has anyone got the... Yeah. I did say... I did give you a clue as to how to get to the question, okay? How to get to the quiz question. And it was on the very first live stream that we did. I actually told the story of where that line came from. And there we are. So, okay, let's see if anyone can get it. I'll tell you what I'll do, because I was going to announce the quiz winner there, but we're not going to do that at the moment. I have one other little item that I was going to do, and this is just like a real aside. One of the other bands that I play with, I play keyboards with a kind of rock band, an original rock band in Cardiff called Roosevelt. I produced an album for them and with them back in about 2003 and ended up joining them. We did a couple of quite big gigs here. No, great band, very kind of Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, etc., etc. And the Korgis are doing Cartoon World in lockdown, and the guys from Roosevelt were also very frustrated, and they decided that we would do a few lockdown songs where we would actually all record at home and send them through. Now, this is great if you have some recording facilities home. Now, Paul, the singer-guitarist, did have good recording facilities. The drummer, no. The bass player, no. Second guitarist, no. So I was getting all of these files in and going, oh my God, how am I going to make this sound good? But I think I did in the end. This is a little song called Lockdown With You. And the other little bit of added interest is that Leah Darknell drew the house, which we call Roosevelt Mansions. It's a lockdown house. And it appears at first that we are just inside this house and we're just playing along. But if you notice on the outside, there's some little animals and stuff, and they're all moving. There's even a snail that crawls along in front of the house, and he goes very slow. He never gets to the end of the house by the end of the song. He just gets kind of somewhere near the front door. So all of these things to look out for. There we go. This is Roosevelt and Lockdown With You.
Hi, welcome to another lockdown session with Roosevelt. Here's a little song called Lockdown With You, appropriately. Goes out to all the NHS workers and frontline workers, not just in this period of time that we are, but all through. So yeah, a song called Lockdown With You. 1, 2, 3.
There we are. That was Lockdown With You. Actually, really good band, Roosevelt. Great fun working with him. Oops, sorry. Bit of a thing going on at the end there of that one. Yeah, thoroughly enjoy working with him. Paul is the main songwriter in that band. In fact, he's the only songwriter in that band, but he writes really good material. I kind of really enjoy working with all the guys. Proper rock band. Yeah, loud as hell. Sometimes my ears are really ringing at the end of it. So there we are. I don't think we have had a quiz question winner, and I don't think I can hang on much longer. I will just scour just in case there's something else that I have forgotten. I think I mentioned Australia and Japan, didn't I? Australia, I don't think there's anyone anyone tuning in from Australia at the moment, but Australia, the dates are June the 2nd and 3rd. We are in Melbourne. Those will probably be the first dates in Australia. We'll put other dates for the next 10 days after that, and hopefully Japan before that. We'll see how they go. Just in case if you fancy doing a bit of globe trotting with us, coming along to see us, you know, it's like, I think that's taken supporting us to the extreme, really, but you never know, do you? You never know. I know Ingo really wanted to come to Japan when we were going to do the dates in January. It's like, January, yeah, maybe I can. So who knows? Maybe we'll see you there in late May or something like that, Ingo. Okay, I think so. I think we have no competition winner. So I am actually gonna pop it up on screen, and Leah Darknell, who is with us at the moment, will know the answer to this. The answer was, well, we can't govern the world. We came across this geezer called Captain Beanie, and this was way back in maybe 2005, something like that. We were walking along the streets in Cardiff, and he came dressed like that, and he's saying, "Vote, don't be a meanie, vote for Beanie." And his slogan was, he said, "I don't know anything about governing, but at least if you vote for me, you'll have a good laugh." And he said that's got to be at least as important of what these other idiots are doing there at the moment. And so it just kind of struck me that was quite a funny thing to say, that I don't know anything about governing, but you'll have a good laugh if you vote for me. So, yes, exactly. Don't be a meanie, vote for Beanie. And it's like, that's always stuck with us ever since then. So it's quite funny. If you go back and listen to the first live stream, he's on there. He comes on and he talks about it. And he's got a museum called the Bean Museum, the Baked Bean Museum in Swansea, and it's one of the like top 10 attractions. And it's all about Heinz baked beans, which is his preferred variety. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so brilliant. Thank you all for joining us so much. I'm not sure whether it'll be next week or the week after, or even the week after that, where we'll do a live stream of all of the videos back to back. I'll see how busy it is. If I can pull them all together, and it's quite easy to do, I will maybe do it next week. But stay tuned, and we will let you all know in good time. Or if you haven't found out, just give us an email, and we'll let you know. There we are. Okay, so for now, I am going to sign off, and we're going to sign off with the new video of Bringing Back the Spirit of Love. It's not that different to the old one, but I had to tweak it a little bit because it's different enough from the old one. So here we go. This is Bringing Back the Spirit of Love. See you soon.
Bring it back, bring it on back. Bring it on back to you. Bring it back, the spirit of love. Bring it back, the spirit of love. Bring it back, bring it on back. Bring it on back.
We're gonna start a revolution, one that grows inside our hearts. Let's work for a new solution, 'cause something's about to change. I sense a mighty wave. We don't wanna fight or lower tax. We just wanna win the good stuff back. And we are bringing back the spirit of love to the world. All over the world, people are bringing back the spirit of love to the world. And we're giving it back to you. You're gonna join the party, but you gotta lay down your hate. I think you'll find now we started. You'll never ever get enough when you build your house on love. We don't need to sin to see what's wrong. We just need a revolution song. shout. Are you free? Are you a slave? A slave to that big money machine we made. Are you in? Are you in? Are you out? Are you out? Stand up, wake up the world and shout. Are you free? Are you free? Are you a slave? A slave to that big money machine we made. Time to stand up, wake up the world and shout. Are you free? Are you a slave? A slave to that big money machine.